Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Westbridge. We're glad you're here today. Stand on our feet. We're going to worship together. Here we go. Oh, I can't help but praise you, Lord. I have felt the hands that bear the scars reach down and rescue me. I have known the love of the Father's heart, a brighter than now redeemed. From where I was to where I'm now, it's overwhelming. The more and more I see you move all around me. Oh, I can't help but praise you, Lord. Oh, I can't help but lift up shouts of joy when I think of how good you've been, faithful now to the end. I can't help but praise you, Lord. For the blood was spilled to save my life, a debt I cannot repay. For the cross you bore with open arms, salvation that called my name. From where I was to where I'm now, it's overwhelming. The more and more I see you move all around me. Oh, I can't help but praise you, Lord. I can't help but lift up shouts of joy when I think of how good you've been, faithful now to the end. I can't help but praise you, Lord. Oh, I can't help but dance 'cause I'm free, got no chains on me, I'm healed and redeemed. Oh, I can't help but call on the name that buried my shame, who opened my grave. Oh, I can't help but dance 'cause I'm free, got no chains on me, I'm healed and redeemed. I can't help but call on the name that buried my shame, who opened my grave. I can't help but praise you, Lord. Oh, I can't help but lift up shouts of joy when I think of how good you've been, faithful now to the end. I can't help but praise you, Lord. Oh, I can't help but praise you, Lord. Oh, I can't help but praise you, Lord. Well, hope everybody's been having a great new year so far. I know we're in the second week of the year already. But I just want to encourage us to kind of just continue on in this new year with a posture of a grateful heart. I think that's a great way to start the new year. Just being thankful for everything that we have in our life, being content with gratitude, being thankful for all that Jesus did in 2025, but also being thankful for all he's going to do. And we're going to sing about that right now with this song called Grateful Heart. Some lyrics that say, you didn't stop there and you won't stop now. So thank you with a grateful heart. And I just know that that's true. If he didn't stop being faithful in 2025, he won't stop being good and faithful in 2026. So let's continue singing about that in this new year, having a posture of thankfulness. We're going to continue worshiping together. The lyrics are on the screen. Let's continue to sing. How good you are, dark, there was no way that I could make it this far without your love, Jesus, holding my heart. So we'll say thank you. So I'll say thank you for all that you've done. Your grace, love, and mercy are more than enough. You didn't stop there, and you won't stop now. So thank you from this grateful heart. Yeah. Oh, I can't stop singing, 'cause every time I fail, your grace, love, and mercy show that you never will. On the cross where you died for me, you buried all my shame. Now I'm alive and free to say thank you for all that you've done. Your grace, love, and mercy are more than enough. You didn't stop there, and you won't stop now. So thank you from this grateful heart, 'cause he's been so good. You have been so good to me. Don't know where else would I be without your faithfulness. Again and again, again and again, you have been so good to me. I don't know where else would I be without your faithfulness. Again and again, 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 again and again. And I'll say thank you for all that you've done. Your grace, love, and mercy are more than enough. You didn't stop there, and you won't stop now. Oh, thank you from this grateful heart. I'll say thank you for all that you've done. Your grace, love, and mercy are more than enough. You didn't stop there, and you won't stop now. So thank you from this grateful heart. You didn't stop there, and you won't stop now. Thank you from this grateful heart. Thank you, Jesus.
I have this thirst, only you can satisfy. My heart, it burns with
Jesus, we just want to make that our prayer today. The second weekend of the new year, we just want to say, we need you. We need you more than anything else. Jesus, we've sung it up until now that you were faithful then, and we know you'll be faithful to the end. We know you'll be good, so that's why we need you in every season, in every moment of life, in the highs and the lows and everything in between. We need you to be our source, because we know in you we can find all that we need, that we can find hope, that we can find peace, we can find joy, we can find true life in you today, Jesus. So no matter how we came in this room today, no matter what we're struggling with today, Jesus, no matter what we're thinking about, may you be our number one priority, the number one need that we need above all else. Jesus, we just say it and we believe it. We need you more than anything else, more than the air that we breathe. You're the thing that we need. Jesus, we love you. Thank you for all you're doing in our life, all you continue to do. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, thanks for being with us here at Westbridge. We're so glad you're here. Go ahead and take your seats. Enjoy the rest of the service.
Welcome everybody to Westbridge. Whether you are online or in person, thanks so much for joining us. My name's Amanda and I'm a part of the communications team. If you're a first-time guest with us today, welcome. We're so glad you're here. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about Westbridge, download the Westbridge app. We've got a button on there called 5 and 5 where you can discover 5 things about Westbridge in 5 minutes or less. On your way in, you may have taken a program and inside there are 3 things. First is an outline to follow along with today's talk. Next is a connection card. If you're a first-time guest, please fill out as much information as you feel comfortable giving us. If you bring that card to the Next Steps area in the lobby, we have a t-shirt for you, just as our way of saying thank you for being here today. The last thing in the program is a giving envelope. If you would like to give today, you can drop it in the giving station on the way out of the auditorium, or mail it anytime, postage paid. You can also give in the Westbridge app. Just click on Give at the bottom of the page. Westbridge Life Groups kick off this week. A life group is a great way to get connected with others here at Westbridge and to grow in your faith. Click on the Life Groups button in the app to browse all of the groups and to sign up. Discover Westbridge is a great way to learn more about who we are and why we do the things the way we do them. You'll learn about the vision and the values here at Westbridge. Click on Events in the Westbridge app to sign up. As we move to the next part of the service, we want you to know that Westbridge intentionally creates welcoming environments online and in person for everyone. So no matter what your relationship with God is or isn't, we're so glad you're here. Enjoy the rest of the service.
Good morning. Welcome to Westbridge Church. My name's Jeremiah. I'm one of the pastors here. It's awesome to have you with us today. I want to say hello to everybody joining us online. Those of you in a parent viewing room, that's a great option if you have small kids you prefer to keep with you during the service. And then anybody appreciate you joining us there. And I want to just mention something before we jump in about the Westbridge Church app. Now, our website, the goal of our website is to be really outward focused for people from the community who are exploring what the church is all about, who we are. And then the app is designed for those of you who are already here and a part of the church. And this is a great way for you to sort of keep up with things that are going on around here. So one of the things I want to mention is every single week, I don't know if you realize this, we do a Bible reading plan and it changes every single week. So every week there's a new Bible reading plan that kicks off as we, really it's every Thursday because we have a Thursday night service. So every Thursday there's a new Bible reading plan that you can go into the Westbridge Church app, click on the Bible reading plan, and there's a new plan every single week that sort of fits along with whatever we're discussing here at our weekend services. So I just want to encourage you, if you, in 2026, if you thought, man, I should really read the Bible more or learn more about that, that's a great way to do that. And every single week there's a new, anywhere from 5 to 7 days sort of Bible reading plan that you can follow along. And then the other thing is this Discover class that it was mentioned in the video here. This is really just why we do what we do the way we do it. And so it's all about this is a church where you go, man, maybe you're seeing some of the things we do and go, you guys do things a little different than churches I've been a part of in the past. Or maybe you're new to church and you're like, why do you do some of the things that you do the way that you do it? This is all about that. Why we do what we do the way we do it. And it's only one session. It's this Thursday at 6:30. And so I want to encourage you, you can sign up for that right in the Westbridge Church app as well. And then if you don't have the Westbridge Church app, I'd encourage you to download it. We talk about it quite a lot. Every week, actually. And there's lots of great resources and tools right in the palm of your hand. It's a free download. So grab that, and you can sort of keep track of the things that are going on around here. It's also how you can search for life groups. If you're interested in joining a life group, Kristen, our life group director, will be out in the lobby, and then you can chat with her afterwards. Of course, Westbridge Church app. It's a great way to do that. So today we're in part 2 of a series called The Good Life. The good life. And we kicked this off last week just talking about like, man, we all want the good life, but what does that actually mean? What does Jesus say is the good life? And oftentimes it's not what we would say that it is. And he kicks it off. Last week we looked at this idea of the poor in spirit. That those who are poor in spirit, those who recognize I'm broken and I can't fix myself, that's actually the starting point to live the good life that Jesus talks about. And I'm excited to continue this series because this is something we all have in common, right? I've never met someone, if you ask them, do you want to have a good life? They're like, nah, not really. Not interested in that, right? We all want a good life. And for a lot of us, when we think about the good life, here's what it includes. Financial security. Or a great place to live, or vacations, right, and fun and with family and friends, or toned abs and an awesome spouse, or 2.5 kids and a dog, definitely some kind of a doodle because every dog in America has mixed with a doodle of some kind now. So those dogs are taking over. Notice I didn't say a cat because that would not be a good life. And then I know that might not be everyone's picture, but really, when you think about it, that's kind of the picture that's been painted in our culture of the American dream. This is what the good life sort of looks like, the blessed life. And it doesn't take long to scroll through social media and see everyone else's highlight reel and everyone else's sort of, hashtag blessed life. And you're thinking, man, I want that. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with any of those things. Those are all good things to have. But I do want us to take notice of something when we look at what our culture tends to describe as the good life. And here's what it is. As humans, humans have a tendency to move the finish line. Humans have a tendency to move the finish line. Like, think about this. Like, when you're younger, it's like, man, someday, right? Someday I'm going to be out of 6th grade and I'm going to be in junior high, and then I can really have a lot more freedom. And then you're like, man, someday I'm going to be out of high school and I won't have to follow my parents' rules anymore. It's going to be so great to have so much freedom. And then you get out on your own and you realize, whoa, along with that freedom came a lot more responsibility. And then we get into college or young adult years and we're not really finding the fulfillment that we thought we would, so we move the finish line just a little bit further. Someday I'll have a career and make lots of money and be really independent, and then we land our dream job. And after just a couple of years, we start feeling restless again. Why is that? Because we keep moving the finish line. Someday, I'm going to meet someone and get married, and then that will fulfill me. And then you found out marriage didn't actually complete you. In fact, it brought a lot of stuff out of you that you didn't even realize was in there. And then you can think, well, someday we'll have kids and have a family. That's what's missing. And then you have kids. You're like, someday my kids will move out. So someday when I retire, I'm going to move somewhere warm in the South, like Rochester. It's going to be amazing. And if we're not careful, eventually the good life is this. Someday when I die, I'll be happy. I mean, we just keep moving the finish line a little further and a little further and a little further. And if we're not careful, pretty soon it's just, when I'm happy, I'll die. When I die, I'll be happy, And the ongoing struggle for significance and fulfillment, this thing that we feel, this restlessness to try to figure out and discover the good life, that's not just a new, 21st century American dynamic. This is something we've been wrestling with for thousands of years. In fact, King Solomon dealt with this dynamic, and King Solomon was a guy who lived almost 3,000 years ago. He was a king of the nation of Israel, and he's the 3rd king. He reigned during the golden era of the nation of Israel. He had everything in his life that most of us would say, this is what makes up the good life. He had it. Okay, he was the wealthiest man in the world. He was Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates and Elon Musk rolled into one. This guy had so much wealth. He's also the most powerful person in the world because of his wisdom, because of his power, because of his wealth. He took the tiny nation of Israel and he turned them into a world superpower. And on top of all that, he had incredible amounts of knowledge on an endless list of topics. And yet, when reflecting on his own life, If you read the Old Testament book of Ecclesiastes, this is basically King Solomon at the end of his life reflecting on life. It's almost like a journal entry of sorts. And he's reflecting on all the things that have taken place in his life. And he gets to the end of his life and he writes these chapters in Ecclesiastes. And one of the things he says is this: everything is wearisome beyond description. No matter how much we see, we are never satisfied. No matter how much we hear, we are not content. In other words, I kept chasing and the finish line kept moving. And as you read further through this chapter, he's just talks about how cyclical life is. He goes, man, right now it's winter, but guess what? Soon it'll be spring. And spring will turn to summer, and summer will turn into autumn, and then guess what? It's winter again. You're like, man, this guy needs a Prozac, This is depressing. And then he goes, the rivers flow into the sea, and yet the sea never fills up. And so then the sea flows back into the river, and the river flows into the sea, and the sea into the river. Goes, blah, blah, blah. There's nothing new under the sun. It's all cyclical. There's no meaning. And we won't read all of chapter 2, but I'd encourage you to read Ecclesiastes chapter 2 sometime this week. He basically writes this: life is short, so I'm going to do whatever I can to just squeeze whatever happiness I can out of this short life I've got. That's the whole theme of chapter 2. And then he starts to list all of the things that he tries to make himself happy. And maybe you've bought into this sort of philosophy as well, right? If it's, third, fourth, fifth glass of wine, I'm gonna do it. If it's shop till I drop, I'm gonna do it. If it's hurting somebody else that helps me get ahead, then I'll do it. If it's just living from one vacation to the next, I'm gonna make that happen. But the amazing thing is Solomon had the resources to do whatever he wanted to do, and yet he came up empty. And maybe you've experienced that as well. And the reason for that is because we just have this tendency to keep moving the finish line. And we get there and we go, yeah, but if I only this. And then we get there and we go, yeah, but if only this. And the finish line just keeps moving. And when you compare your list of things that you've tried to be happy to Solomon's list, he wins. Like, listen to this. This guy had all of the wealth, all of the fame, all of the power, all of the money, everything you could imagine. He binge watched all the comedians on Netflix for laughter. All right, he had all of it. He tried alcohol. He tried to alter his state of mind. He had incredible amounts of real estate and palaces and gardens. He had a personal attendant in every area of his life. Personal chef, personal trainer, personal everything, right? He had a staff to attend to all of his needs. He had so much wealth. History tells us that during his reign, he devalued silver because he was so wealthy. He had on-demand access to live performances from U2 and Taylor Swift and Beyonce. And here's the crazy thing. You read about his life, he could have sex anytime he wanted to. A booty call was never more than a text away. He had 1,000 wives and mistresses. 1,000 wives and mistresses. And eventually he arrives at this conclusion. He gets into Ecclesiastes chapter 2. We'll read a couple verses. He says, anything I wanted, I would take. Anything I wanted, I would just take it. I denied myself no pleasure. So I just did anything I could to extract whatever happiness I could from this short life. But as I looked at everything I had worked so hard to accomplish, it was all so meaningless, like chasing the wind. There was nothing really worthwhile anywhere. What a sad commentary on life, right? Everything that I thought would bring me the quote-unquote good life, it came up short. It came up empty. It was cyclical. The finish line kept moving, and I kept arriving, and then I realized, nope, the finish line is there. And I kept arriving, and then I realized, nope, the finish line is there. I did it all, and none of it brought the good life I was hoping it would. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Solomon discovered this truth about life. You cannot fix an internal problem with an external solution. This is the reality. There's something internal. Happiness is an internal problem, and you're never going to solve that. The good life is an internal issue. You're never going to solve that with external things. We're not going to fix it by changing our circumstances. We're not going to fix it by becoming more beautiful. We're not going to fix it by accumulating more things. We will never fix an internal problem with an external solution. Instead, Jesus comes along and he offers us a brand new way of thinking, a new way of living. This is Jesus' version of the good life. And so 2,000 years ago, on a hillside in northern Israel, The greatest sermon that has ever been preached was given by the most radical man who has ever lived. It's called the Sermon on the Mount. And the reason it's called that is because Jesus was up on a mountainside. And in this teaching, Jesus literally lays out a different way to live. It's Jesus' version of the good life. It's in Matthew chapters 5 through 7, 3 chapters. If you read the entire thing, it's filled with countercultural, go against the flow, take the narrow road type of living that Jesus promises. When you do this, you will experience the good life. So he paints a picture. And he paints a picture not of the American dream, but rather what it looks like to be in relationship with God, to experience citizenship in God's kingdom. It's radically different than anything people in their day had ever heard. It's totally revolutionary, and it still is completely revolutionary. It still flies in the face of everything that our culture tells us is the good life. And so it starts out in Matthew chapter 5. Matthew is one of Jesus' friends and followers. He records this for us. Now, when Jesus saw the crowds, he went up on a mountainside and sat down. That's why it's called Sermon on the Mount. And his disciples came to him, and he began to teach them. And so we're spending time looking at basically just the first 12 or so verses of this sermon that lasts 3 chapters. This introduction to this sermon, because he starts with this list of who Jesus says is #blessed. This is the good life in the kingdom of God. This list is referred to as the Beatitudes. And it has nothing, it's nothing like they've ever heard before. It is not a list of the spiritually elite. When you read through this, it's not those who are spiritually elite. It's not a list of those who have it all together. It's not a list of those who are in control, the moral code setters, the top of society. Jesus starts off his list, as we talked about last week, and if you missed last week's, you can go and watch it online. He talked about the poor in spirit. The poor in spirit. This is who will be a part of God's kingdom, those who recognize that I'm broken and I can't fix myself. I need Jesus to fix me. He blesses those who mourn. He says, those who are humble. The peacemakers, those who are merciful to others, those who hunger and thirst after God, those who are pure in heart, and those who are persecuted. It seems that from the jump, Jesus begins to reveal a new day, a new way of what it really looks like to live with fullness and abundance and to live with happiness in this life. And it seems to come in the most unexpected ways to the most unsuspecting people. I love the way that John Ortberg is a pastor and author. I love the way he says it. He says this: the idea of the Beatitudes is that no human condition excludes blessedness now that Jesus is in the equation. You can't fix an internal problem with an external solution. There's only an internal solution. It's all about Jesus, and that's because of Jesus. What might look good, what might not look good, rather, can actually lead to something good. Because of Jesus, what might not look good can actually lead to something good. And that couldn't be more true than this second beatitude, this second attribute that Jesus talks about in this list. We're going to read it together. Jesus says this: God blesses those who mourn, for they will be comforted. God blesses you when you mourn. Again, the word blessed really means happy. Happy, at peace, contented. So it's as if Jesus is saying this: happy are the sad. That feels like a bit of a contradiction, doesn't it? Like, what does that really mean? It made me think of this video I saw recently about a girl who was really stuck between these two emotions of happiness and sadness. I thought you'd get a kick out of it. Check this out.
Finley, come here, look at me. You have to stop crying. Okay?
Yeah.
Come here right now. Look at mommy for a minute. You stop crying right now, okay?
Okay.
Are you crying?
No.
Not any-
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm laughing.
You're happy?
I'm laughing.
Oh, yeah, you're laughing.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to watch Sophia?
Yeah.
Okay, no more crying, okay?
I think I'm a little bit tired.
That ending is the best. You're like, I feel that so hard. Oh, that's so great. I think I might be a little bit tired. Is this what God means? Hey, happy or the sad? Just stop crying. Just put on a happy face. Just pretend that everything's okay, right? Happy or the sad? No. In fact, when you dig into Jesus' teaching, it flies in the face of pretending. It flies in the face of how we typically deal with hard things in our lives. How do we handle pain or difficulty or loss or sadness or suffering or sorrow? We have all experienced situations in our lives that cause us to experience mourning or sadness. Every single one of us have been through things in life that have marked us, that have scarred us, things that we look back and wish we could forget. All of us have gone through things that have caused deep sadness, deep sorrow, regret, grief, loss, pain, hardship. All of us have experienced these things. So how do we deal with those things when they come up? And here are a few of the ways that we typically tend to deal with sadness or sorrow in our lives. One is just denial. Just sweep it under the rug, pretend it didn't happen, right? Move on with life. This is a typical emotion. Maybe like that little girl, we just pretend it's not happening. If I don't address it, if I don't look at it, if I just put on a happy face and, kind of put one foot in front of the other, I'll just power through. And so we try to repress it. We don't talk about it. We don't deal with it. And I know that denial can be a legitimate, stage of grief. But if you stay there, if you don't move past denial, it's not an effective strategy for our lives. It's not an effective strategy for our souls. But denial is one of the things that we do to try to deal with sadness or sorrow or grief. Another one is this: isolation. Isolation. Another thing we do is isolate ourselves. It could be because we don't want people to know what's going on with us. It could be because we don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to share. We don't want to be a burden to other people. We feel like, I'll just be a burden to them if they know what I'm going through. We feel shame around the fact that we're still in a season of mourning something or someone. We don't think anyone will understand. This is why this is such a huge strategy of the enemy. The scriptures tell us we have an enemy of our souls. And one of the biggest strategies of our enemy is to get us alone with our heartache, get us alone with our pain, get us alone with our loss, because it's so much easier to move us away from faith. Really, if you think about it, when you drift from people of faith, you drift from faith. This is why it's so important for us to gather. We gather to remind ourselves, not just of the greatness of God, but we gather to remind ourselves, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one experiencing this. I'm not the only one who's gone through this. There are other people who are moving in the same direction spiritually, who have experienced the things that I've experienced. This is why we do life groups. This is why we pour so much time and energy and attention into life groups, because we all need a vehicle to help us connect with other people who are moving in the same direction spiritually. And life groups are an opportunity for us to get together with other people and go, man, what's going on with you? Like we talk on Sunday mornings, we learn some things, this is good, this is important, but then we go, but how do I live this out in my daily life? What does this look like in my context? And I support you, and you support me, and we know each other, and we're looking eyeball to eyeball and helping each other move down the path of spiritual growth and maturity. That's why we do groups. One of the greatest weapons against the tactics of the enemy is community. One of the greatest gifts that God has given us is one another. Isolation never leads to the good life for which we were created. But it's tempting to do. It's tempting just to pull back. Another thing that we do is numbing. This is just a way to escape, right? And we use all kinds of things to escape reality. Maybe it's just doom scrolling on social media, And pretty soon you're just like scrolling through and you're looking at vacation pictures of someone you've never even met. Like, why am I here? What happened? How did I get here? Maybe it's drugs or alcohol or weed or gambling or porn, shopping, binging Netflix, right? Food. I mean, there are so many different things that we use to numb the pain. And not only are these things can be unhealthy, some of them are illegal. Some of them can lead to addiction. They can harm our relationships. Some of these things rewire our brains. They change the course of our lives. These coping mechanisms that we have, they change us. And the reality is this: sometimes we're just trying to numb the pain, and then we end up going down a road we never intended to go down. And we find ourselves asking the question, how did I get here? Why am I so far down this path? I never intended to be here. And so this can be an unhealthy thing if we're not careful. Another thing that we do is this: dwelling. Just dwelling on it. I mean, this one is in collusion with all the others. We just dwell on it. We become consumed by it. We allow it to sort of take over. All of our mental and physical and spiritual and emotional energy is just spent believing there is no hope. This is just how it is. This is just how it's going to be, right? Things will never change. Things will never get better, and this circumstance or this loss or this betrayal or this addiction or this relational strain, this disappointment, this hurt, this pain, it's just going to overwhelm us. I'm never going to be able to get past it. I may as well just dwell on it. And into all of the ways that we tend to deal with pain and sorrow and disappointment, Jesus gives us another way. And so he says this, God blesses those who mourn, for they will be comforted. God blesses you, or happy or at peace are those who are able to take their sorrow and their sadness and their pain and their disappointment and their grief and mourn it. And in doing that, God will bring comfort. Jesus acknowledges that there are some really hard things in life. He doesn't encourage us to pretend. He doesn't encourage us to deny it. He doesn't encourage us to sweep it under the rug. We live in a broken world, and Jesus doesn't pretend that everything is okay. Instead, he recognizes our brokenness, and he recognizes the brokenness of our world and the weight of difficulty and sadness that we sometimes carry, and he invites us to mourn. In fact, in the Psalms, King David, who wrote many of the Psalms, would use this word lament. Lament. Now, when we think of the Psalms, a lot of times, if you grew up around church at all, if you think about the Psalms, oftentimes they're kind of like, make a joyful noise unto the Lord, and it's like sort of happy, happy, praise, praise type Psalms. And those exist. There's a lot of those. But you may not realize there's also Psalms of lament, or Psalms of God, why have you totally hosed us? That's what a psalm of lament is. Psalms of shaking your fist at the sky and going like, God, smite my enemies, And these are raw, honest prayers when you read through the Psalms. Lament is our language for loss. Lament is our language for pain and disappointment. It's an opportunity for us to be honest with God about our pain and our sadness and our sorrow. It's a way for us to be honest with God about our heart and our emotions. Lament is a pathway for us to process our pain with a God who sees us and who loves us and who promises to comfort us. So how do you do that? How do you mourn and be comforted by God? The secret is found in the very first verse in Matthew chapter 5. It says this, when Jesus saw the crowds, he went up on a mountainside and sat down. His disciples came to him, and he began to teach them. His disciples came to him. This is what you do. You keep coming to Jesus, and you let him teach you. And you just keep coming to Jesus. And you come back to him again and again and again, and you keep sitting at his feet, and you keep coming back to Jesus, and you let him teach you. You keep coming back to him, the best way to experience the good life that God has for me, to process my pain in a healthy way, to believe that there may be hope again, is to keep coming to Jesus and letting him teach me. And so today, in the next few minutes that we have together, I want to encourage you, whatever is weighing on your heart, whatever pain, whatever burden, whatever grief or loss, whatever disappointment, whatever unknown, whatever sadness or sorrow, I want to encourage you. You just keep coming back to Jesus. And here's why. First of all, he understands. This is so helpful, so encouraging. This is why we can trust him. Isn't it amazing to be comforted by someone who gets it, who understands what you're going through? Like when you're experiencing something and you have a friend who's been through what you're going through, isn't it comforting to go to them and to know, wow, you get where I'm coming from because you understand, you've been where I've been. There's something about that, someone who's actually been there and they get it and they understand, and when they look you in the eyes and they say, you know what, I understand what you're going through, they really mean it, and you know it and you feel it. And we have a God who didn't just set the universe in motion and forget it. He didn't just set it and forget it. He's not distant and removed. Through Jesus, God came toward us. He became one of us. We see clearly in Jesus a God that doesn't just know about our hardships and our struggles and our sufferings and our emotions, but he has experienced them because he became one of us to live it and to walk in our shoes. And so in writing to followers of Jesus in the first century, the author of Hebrews would write this: this high priest of ours, Jesus, understands our weaknesses. This high priest, Jesus, understands our weaknesses. We don't have a high priest who is unable to empathize, who is unable to understand. No, because he understands our weaknesses because he lived and walked in our shoes. He walked this planet, and when you read through the life of Jesus and the eyewitness accounts, you can see so clearly he understands when friends bail on us. If you look at his life, he understands homelessness. He understands physical pain. He understands mocking. He understands family rejection. He understands criticism. He understands being unjustly accused. He understands losing loved ones. He understands being an outcast and a refugee. He understands hunger. He understands immense betrayal. If you've ever thought, if only God knew what I was going through, he does. He's walked in your shoes. We have a suffering Savior who understands. And not only does he understand, but secondly, he will meet you where you are. He meets you right where you're at. This is one of the clearest things we see in the life of Jesus. He will show up and he will move toward us in our pain, in our sadness, in our sorrow, and our disappointment. That's who he is. That's who he is. And I'm so thankful for that. And all throughout his life, you read the eyewitness accounts of the life of Jesus, he just keeps showing up and meeting people right where they're at. No matter how broken or painful or messed up or messy it was, he meets them right there. Now, I grew up in a church, so not everybody grew up in a church, but I grew up in a church, and every once in a while, and in Sunday school class growing up, our teacher would have us, hey, memorize a Bible verse before next week, and I'd always pick the same verse, John 11:35. It's 2 words, Jesus wept. I'm like, got it, nailed it. Come back next week, put a star on that chart, baby. But here's the reality. This is the shortest verse in the Bible. John 11:35, and it simply says this, Jesus wept. And the context of this is that Jesus has a friend named Lazarus, and his friend has died. And he's coming to the scene, and this isn't the only time Jesus cried, but this is a time when Jesus showed up after his friend had died. And the crazy part of this story is that Jesus knew he was going to raise him from the dead. He knew it was going to happen. And yet when he shows up and Lazarus' sisters are weeping, they're grieving, they're crying, and Jesus doesn't say, come on, stop crying. Stop crying. Watch this. Check this out. Watch what I'm about to do. He doesn't minimize their pain. He sits with them in it. He sits with them in their sorrow. He sits with them in their grief, right in the pain of it, right in the questioning of it, and he weeps with them. And we have that same Jesus. He will show up for us like this. It's so comforting to know I can lament, I can mourn, I can grieve. I don't have to pull myself together first. I don't have to stop crying first. I don't have to have things all figured out first, right? I don't have to get in a better place first. The opposite is true. The place he most desires to meet us is in those hurt places, those broken places, those messy places, those grieving places, because he is a God who will comfort those who mourn. And maybe you don't know that about God. And maybe you've even thought this, like, oh man, if I was honest with God about what I think about God, I don't think God would be very happy with me. Like, if I unloaded on God, if I lament to him, if I shake my fist at the sky, I think God would be angry at me for how angry I am with him. And the truth is, that is not the God that Jesus shows us. He shows us a God who keeps showing up in the grief, in the loss, in the disappointment, in the sorrow, and in the mess. We keep coming back to Jesus. You just keep coming back. He understands. He meets you where you're at. Thirdly, he is humble and gentle. He is humble and gentle. Listen to the words of Jesus when he's talking to those who are dealing with heavy things in life. In fact, I want to invite you to imagine that you're sitting on a hillside in Galilee, and you hear the words, this compassion in his voice. Imagine you're sitting in the crowd, and you hear the voice of Jesus speak these words to you. Because he's here today. He wants you to hear this clearly. He says this, come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light. Notice Jesus doesn't say, come to me, all of you who are winning and thriving. Hey, come to me, all of you who are living your best life now. Come to me, all of you who are killing the game. All of you who are perfect and polished, come to me, all who are #blessed. What does he say? Come to me, all of you who are weary, who are carrying heavy burdens. I want you to come to me. You will find rest for your soul. My yoke is light. And this yoke that Jesus is talking about, this is a reference to a yoke they would put over a pair of oxen. The first time I ever saw one of these was at the historic Kelly farm. You put this wooden thing, it's got space for right over the necks of two oxen. And the goal is that you can harness the power of both oxen and you keep them moving in the same direction with a yoke. But in Jesus' day, the yoke became, the word was a reference to the way that a student would stick side by side with their rabbi. So different rabbis had a different yoke. And if you were a student of a rabbi, you would apply their yoke. So their understanding of the Torah, their interpretation of the law of Moses, you would adopt their interpretation. And where they went, you went. And what they believed, you believed. So here's what Jesus is saying. He's saying, look, take my yoke upon you. Like move with me. Where I go, you go. But it's not a heavy burden. It's actually life-giving. That if you'll live my way, if you'll do things my way, if you'll live closely with me, it's not a heavy burden, it's a promise of peace. You can find a new way here. You can find grace here. You can find comfort here. You can find hope again here. You can find healing here. Some of the best advice I've ever heard on prayer is this: pray what you got. That's just good advice, right? Pray what you got. You got questions? Bring it. You got hurt? Bring it. You got doubt? Bring it. You got sorrow? Bring it. Pray what you got. He understands. He will meet you where you are. He is humble and gentle. And here's some good news. He is working. He's working. He's working behind the scenes. I may never understand the why of some of the things that happen in this life, but I do know where to turn when those moments come. And I want to be anchored into a God that brings rest for my soul, that can bring something good out of my pain and sorrow and sadness and disappointment. This is what the Apostle Paul would later write about God in his letter to the Romans in the first century. He says this: we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. We know that in all things God works for the good. Now, sometimes this verse gets massively misinterpreted. And sometimes people read it like this: I know that if I love God, God will work out all things for my good. And yet here's what we know. The reality of life is that not everything in my life works out the way I want it to. One day, the promise is one day all things will be as they should be. That one day all things will be renewed. And so what Paul is saying is this: that in all things, God is continuing to work towards that good. That ultimate good. That in all things, no matter what is happening in my life and your life, that God is behind the scenes and he is working, and that he is renewing and he is restoring, and that one day all things will be as they should be. And in all things, God is working in that direction. He's working for the good, the ultimate good of all those who he calls his sons and daughters. Now, that's not saying everything in your life is going to work out the way you want it to. It doesn't say that everything happens for a reason. We love, that's such a great American phrase, right? Well, everything happens for a reason. No, it doesn't. We live in a world where unspeakable and unreasonable things happen all the time. It declares this: whatever happens, whatever hard things come our way, we can know there is a God who is still good and is still working in the darkness. We can know and trust and believe that he takes all of the bad stuff and all of the painful stuff and all of the tragic stuff and the residual evil in our world, and he has this ability in some miraculous way to bring about good in our life and in our world. God is bigger than our pain. He's bigger than our sadness, bigger than our sorrow. He's bigger than our disappointment. He is working behind the scenes, and when it feels as if he's silent, it does not mean he is absent. God is able to recycle our pain and our failures and our screw-ups and our loss and our messes into unexpected good. Pastor Rick Warren has this phrase where he says, God never wastes a hurt. He doesn't cause them, but if we can learn to lament, if we can learn to mourn in the midst of them, we will be comforted, and God can use them for good. So when something bad is happening around you, something good can be happening in you. And I don't know what you're facing in this season of your life. I don't know what pain or grief or loss or sorrow or disappointment you're facing, but I do know you can bring it to God and you'll find rest for your soul. Your story isn't over. Don't put a period where God has a comma. when you are facing, what you're facing today might just be the thing that God uses to make a difference in somebody else's life tomorrow. You very easily could get through this season that you're in, and this becomes a powerful story that you share with other people to help them get through a season they're in. Keep coming to Jesus. He understands. He will meet you where you are at. He is humble and gentle, and he is working. God blesses those who mourn, for they will be comforted. If you're facing something today, I want to pray with you. I want to pray for you. And if you've never come to Jesus, maybe today is the first time that you come to Jesus. What you need to know is you're invited. No matter who you are, no matter where you've been, no matter what you've done, no matter what mess you bring, God sent Jesus into our world specifically for broken people like you and me. And he came and invited us into God's family. And then he took all of our brokenness and sin and shame upon himself. And if you read through the accounts of Jesus, he took all of that on himself, and then he was put to death on a cross. And his body was laid in a tomb, and according to multiple eyewitnesses, hundreds of people saw Jesus alive again, which means there is more to this life than this life. Death is not the end, and you and I have been invited to be a part of God's family forever. Not based on anything we can do, but because of what he has done for us. And maybe today's the time where you come to Jesus for the first time. You say yes to that invitation. So I want to pray for all of us today. I want to pray for any of us going through difficulty, sorrow, sadness. And then if you're here and you'd say, I want to say yes to Jesus, I want to say yes to following him, to make him the leader of my life, then just agree with this simple prayer. God, please forgive my sins. Forgive me for the times that I've walked away from you. I'm so grateful you never walk away from me. God, make me your son, make me your daughter. Help me to put my trust in you, to follow you and your way of living as best as I know how from this moment on. I want you to be the leader of my life. And God, I pray for all of us. God, every one of us experiences sorrow, sadness, disappointment, hurt, loss, grief. God, in those seasons, I pray that we would not give up. I pray that we wouldn't just sweep it under the rug. I pray that we wouldn't isolate ourselves or just dwell on it, but we would learn to just keep showing up, to keep coming to you, to keep sitting at your feet because you understand. God, because you're humble and gentle and you meet us where we're at, I pray, God, that you would continue to work, that you would give in our hearts, God, instill in us hope. May we be reminded that even when it feels like you're silent, you are not absent. You are still working behind the scenes for the good. And I pray that our lives, whatever we're going through right now, God, you'd give us strength, comfort, hope, and that our lives would be a story that helps somebody else in the future. May our lives point people to you. We love you, and we pray this in your name. Amen. Hey, before we go this morning, real quick, if that was your next step, if you said, man, I want to say yes to following Jesus, we have a box of resources that I would love to put in your hands. Just grab your connection card, mark that box that says I'm following Jesus, and swing by our next steps area, and then let them know, and they've got the box, it's got a Bible and another book and some other resources in there, and we'd love to give that to you. And then if we've never met before, I would love for you to come say hi. Always looking to connect names and faces. Next week, part 3 of The Good Life. If you found today helpful, I'd encourage you to invite someone to join you, and we're going to have a lot of fun as we dig into part 3 of The Good Life next week. Have an amazing week. We'll see you next time.